the Bad Boy 2 Pistons, it was over. Because remember, Paul Pierce never got to the Eastern Conference Final until they got Kevin Garnett, who was a former MVP, until they got Ray Allen, one of the greatest shooters of all time. Paul Pierce, the truth had been a lie up until then. Now, all of a sudden, now remember in 2011, Skip, the Heat mopped the floor with the Celtics, beat them 4-1. LeBron James scored double figures in 3 of the fourth quarters. 3 with Paul Pierce guarding him. So up until he got the big 3, till he got KG and Ray Allen, Paul Pierce had been a lie. The name was a farce. Now, all of a sudden, he used something. Now, remind you, Skip, also, the year that they beat him, in 2008, Game 7, LeBron went for 45, had 13 in the fourth quarter. In 2010, when they had the big 3 Pistons, everybody talking about LeBron. Oh, this is the game that Dan Gilbert said LeBron choked in, and he just got. LeBron James, in Game 10, the last game in Cleveland, had 27 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists, and had 10 points in the fourth quarter. Does that look like a guy that quit? Well, hell, if he quit with those kind of numbers, man, I'd have hated to see what he had done. That'd have been a will game. So he might have had, what, 54, 38, and 20. Stop this notion, Skip. Get that man his props. Paul Pierce, until he got Kevin Garnett, Skip, ain't nobody talk. Ain't nobody even mentioned the Celtics. Ain't nobody mentioned Paul Pierce. He get KG. KG, if I'm not mistaken, his first year there, KG was Defensive Player of the Year. And then you team Ray Allen, who's arguably one of the greatest. He's got to be, Skip, one of the 3 greatest shooters of all time. Whether you got Steph and Clay and Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, however you want to rank it. Ray Allen's in that conversation.
Okay.
And then you're going to take one game, you're going to take a series against the Mavericks to try to whitewash and just diminish everything the man has accomplished. Man, y'all need to stop this. But he showed you. What happened, Skip, in 2012? The man that they thought would quit. Paul Pierce was talking that noise. You remember, don't you, Skip?
Do I?
Game 5. It's over. We ain't coming back here. We not coming back. And what did LeBron do to him? Talking about he wanted him. 45, 15, and 5
Great
on his head. And so you know a good measure Game 7. Because you know he got the highest scoring average in NBA history in Game 7s. What did he do to the truth? Made him a lie again.
Interesting.
And hadn't beat him since.
So let's reiterate what Ryan Hollins said. He was talking about the years 2007, 8, 9, 10, and 11. That's what the Celtics viewed LeBron as soft. And he said, we thought he wouldn't show up in the fourth quarter. We thought he wasn't the real dude when things got tight, said Ryan Hollins, who did play with LeBron James in 2010 in Cleveland. So he saw the collapse in the series in question, the last series in his first go-around in Cleveland. Ryan Hollins sat on the bench for the most part and saw it from the inside out. Then he heard it from the Celtics' point of view when he joined them in 2012. Okay, so what he's saying is exactly what I kept saying all through this, that LeBron was wildly, all-time great, talented, but I didn't see the mentally toughest real dude in fourth quarters consistently. So, again, let's look at that series, that last series in the first go-round, but right before the decision, which came 2 months after this.
Correct.
LeBron, in Game 3 at the Boston Garden, played one of the greatest games of his career. It was a Friday night. I sat watching it with Ernestine. He absolutely destroyed Paul Pierce and the Celtics in their house. It was devastation from the first minute to the last minute. And all of a sudden, here we go again. They're up 2-1. Well, we kept seeing this repeated because they had been neck and neck with Orlando the previous year, and they lost games 4, 5, and 6. Well, here they went again, and they lost games 4, 5, and 6. And it got so bad for LeBron, despite the numbers you just read, go look this up, his inner circle dropped hints to the media, which got reported on ESPN. You can look it up, that LeBron had to be sedated before games 4, 5, and 6. So he did that under sedation because he was having a problem with a teammate in the locker room, an internal issue that required sedation before those games. This got reported. Look it up. And when I heard that, I needed to be sedated because I'm saying, stop it. I have heard enough. He just didn't measure up. He didn't live up. I get those numbers, but if you watch that game carefully as I did, they were never in that game, and they got taken out of it so quickly that his inner circle believed he needed a valid excuse. He got sedated before these games, and a lot of people bought it. And that's why his value remained high going into the decision period, the free agent period, even though he had lost 4, 5, and 6 against Orlando, 4, 5, and 6 against Boston, and going back to 2007, he'd lost games 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the finals against the Spurs, that a lot of people around the league that I knew were saying, he's just not that guy. That's not what he does the best. He doesn't have the toughest mind under pressure to be able to close the deal, so he needed to go learn how to win games from his close friend, D. Wade.
Is that what Paul Pierce had to do when they brought in KG and Ray Allen? So what was Paul Pierce doing in Boston prior to Kevin Garnett? Because he had to be there for at least a decade. And how many Eastern Conference Finals, how many NBA Finals had he made?
Okay, but nobody ever said Paul Pierce is the best player in basketball.
We are. If you talk about said means past tense. Saying, they still saying it. Skip, you talking about, hold on, this was 2010. We 2020, and he's still the best.
Okay, here's my takeaway, and this is what I tried to tell you all during The Last Dance on ESPN. All I kept saying was, hey, you're disqualified. He had too many epic fails because he came right out of the decision and he goes to the Heat, and what happens? Right on schedule in the NBA Finals versus Dallas, games 4, 5, and 6. No. Smaller played LeBron James. It was the all-time superstar meltdown in the history of NBA Finals. You can't take it away. You can't wipe the slate clean. So we had Dallas, then before that we had Boston, and before that we had Orlando. That's not goatish. You're disqualified.
The man against Orlando averaged 35, 9, and like 7.
If you're that guy against that team, it's Dwight and a bunch of three-point shooters. That's all you got. Are you better than Dwight? Are you more valuable than? Yes, you're better than Dwight.
Dwight Howard 3 consecutive times, Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year.
He was surrounded, Skip, you know what he was surrounded by. Those marksmen could not miss.
Okay, but LeBron could miss, and LeBron was not very good in games 4, 5, and 6.
Skip, they what, Skip?
If you're that dude, you close that deal. You just do. Especially after you hit the shot heard round the world to win game 2.
And guess what? We came back and we won game 4. Remember? We won. They beat us 4-2, but that's okay. But I'm talking about this. Ryan Hollins said we thought he'd show up for the fourth quarter. We thought he was a real dude when things got tight. He wouldn't be able to go out and make plays. And if Paul Pierce could stay out of foul trouble, Paul would never be LeBron. And then we showed you. We showed you. Guess what we did, Skip? We beat the brakes off him in Boston. We sent him to New Jersey. Beat the brakes off him. And then he just bounced around. He went from, where'd he go, Skip? You remember he went to Washington and went to Clippers. Went all over. He went everywhere so he wouldn't have to see us. But you know what he did do? He got up out the East. He got up out the East.
This isn't about Paul Pierce. It's about LeBron James.
Where'd he go?
Okay. Did any rival of Michael Jordan's, even in his early years when Boston was just beating his little butt, did anybody ever say he's soft and he gives up in the fourth quarter? Did any owner ever say of Michael Jordan, he quit on us?
Isaiah said we tore his tail up. Isaiah said he wasn't my peer.
Really?
Isaiah said Larry Bird and Magic Johnson was my guys. I tore his tail up.
Did they ever say that Michael was soft?
Skip, I don't care what they say.
Lord have mercy.
Skip, I used to do that all the time. You know, my girl used to tell my grandma, my brother called me name. She said, boy, it ain't what he called you. He said, what you answer to? I don't care what you call me, but what do I answer to? So you call him soft. But we got these rings and things and about to get another one. So when we win the title this year, Skip, that'll be number 4.
You got 3 rings in 9 tries. You are the opposite of Tom Brady. You're the un-Tom Brady.
This ain't got nothing to do with Tom.
He's got 6 and 9. You got 3 and 9.
We're about to have 4.
You were disqualified from the GOAT debate. You're out of it.
No.
Because of Orlando and Boston and Dallas.
I got one thing to say. So,
yeah,
was it true that LeBron James was going to melt down in the fourth quarter and Paul Pierce was going to take the game over? Was it true? So he could have kept that, because that was a lie. My guy in game 12 in 2012 did a number on him.
Was
in
it
2011.
true that LeBron James had to be sedated
I don't know
before
nothing about
games
that.
4, 5, and 6?
Skip, that was,
What?
Skip, I don't,
What?
Skip, I don't know.
You're disqualified.
Skip, I don't know.
Never again do I want to hear you're the GOAT. Goats don't need sedation before games.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Sedated.
What about a guy that took a year and a half off because the media scrutiny was too much for him? What about that? So you disqualified if you can't handle the media asking you a few questions about gambling habits and then what you pay. Hold on, wait a minute.
That was a forced sabbatical. Forced.
Whoa, I don't know about forced. Hold on. You mean that was before social media. And he did that back then. That was before 24-hour news cycle. And he did that back then.
And guess what? He came back and won 3 in a row more to get to 6-0 in the finals.
All I know is everywhere my guy go, titles follow.
Really?
We about to get another one.
L's follow.
We went to Miami, titles follow. We're back to